Excellencies,
इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम के आयोजन के लिए
I thank
मैं राष्ट्रपति बाइडेन का
President Biden for
हार्दिक अभिनंदन
organizing
करता हूं।
this very important event.
यह एफोर्डेबल
This demonstrates our
एक्सेसिबल
shared firm
और
resolve
क्वालिटी
to
हेल्थ केयर के
provide
लिए
affordable,
हमारे
accessible,
साझे
and
दृढ़ निश्चय को
quality
दर्शाता है।
healthcare.
कोविड
During
पैंडेमिक के
the
दौरान
COVID-19
हमने
pandemic, we
इंडो पैसिफिक के
took
लिए क्वाड
the
वैक्सीन
Quad
इनिशिएटिव लिया
vaccine
था
initiative for the
और
Indo-Pacific, and
मुझे खुशी है
I'm pleased
कि क्वाड
that
में
in the
हमने
Quad we
सर्वाइकल
have
कैंसर
decided
जैसे
to
चैलेंज
face
का
the challenge
मिलकर सामना करने का
of
निर्णय लिया।
cervical cancer together.
इन कैंसर केयर
In cancer
कोलैबोरेशन
care,
इज
collaboration
एसेंशियल फॉर
is
क्योर।
essential for cure.
कैंसर का बर्डन
In
कम
order
करने के
to
लिए
reduce the burden of cancer,
प्रिवेंशन,
it is necessary
स्क्रीनिंग
to have an integrated
डायग्नोसिस
approach
और
of
ट्रीटमेंट
prevention,
की इंटीग्रेटेड
screening,
अप्रोच जरूरी है।
diagnosis, and treatment.
भारत में मास स्केल पर
In India,
बहुत ही
an
कॉस्ट
exceedingly
इफेक्टिव
cost-effective
सर्वाइकल
cervical
कैंसर स्क्रीनिंग
cancer screening
प्रोग्राम
program
चल
is
रहा
being
है।
implemented on a
साथ
mass
ही
scale. At the
भारत
same
दुनिया
time,
की सबसे
India
बड़ी
has also
हेल्थ
implemented
इंश्योरेंस
the
स्कीम
world's
चला रहा है
largest health insurance scheme,
और सबको
and
एफोर्डेबल कॉस्ट
special
पर
centers
दवाइयाँ
to
उपलब्ध कराने के
provide
लिए
generic medicine
स्पेशल
at
सेंटर्स भी बनाए
affordable
गए।
costs have
भारत
also
ने
been set up.
सर्वाइकल कैंसर के
India
लिए
has also
अपनी वैक्सीन भी
developed
बनाई
its own vaccine for cervical
और
cancer.
एआई की
And
मदद से
with the help of
नए
AI,
ट्रीटमेंट
we
प्रोटोकॉल भी
have also
शुरू किए जा रहे हैं।
implemented new treatment protocols.
Excellency,
Excellencies,
भारत अपना
India
एक्सपीरियंस
is ready
और
to share
expertise
its experience
शेयर करने के
and
लिए
expertise.
तैयार है। आज कैंसर केयर में काम करने वाले
Several Indian
भारत के
experts
कई
working in the
experts
field of cancer
इस
care
इवेंट्स में
have
हमारे साथ
also
जुड़े।
joined us at this event
भारत का
today.
विजन है
India's vision
वन अर्थ
is one
वन
earth,
हेल्थ।
one health.
इसी भावना
It
से
is
मैं
with this sentiment
क्वाड
under
मूनशॉट
the
इनिशिएटिव के
Quad
तहत
Moonshot Initiative, I
$7.5
announce
मिलियन के
an
सैम्पलिंग
assistance
किट्स,
of sampling kits,
डिटेक्शन किट्स
detection
और
kits,
वैक्सीन्स का
and
सहयोग देने
vaccines
की
worth
घोषणा करता हूं।
$7.5 million.
रेडियोथेरेपी ट्रीटमेंट
India
और
will
कैपेसिटी
also
बिल्डिंग में भी
provide support
भारत
in radiotherapy
सहयोग देगा।
treatment and capacity
मुझे खुशी
building.
है
I am
कि
pleased
इंडो पैसिफिक
that
देशों के लिए
for the countries of the
गावी
Indo-Pacific,
और क्वाड की
under the
पहलों
initiatives of
के
Gavi
अंतर्गत
and Quad,
भारत से 40
40
मिलियन
million
वैक्सीन डोसेज
doses
का
of
योगदान
vaccine will be
दिया जाएगा।
contributed by India.
ये 40 मिलियन
These
वैक्सीन
40
डोसेज
million doses of
करोड़ों
vaccine
लोगों के
will
जीवन
be rays
में
of hope
आशा की
in the
किरणें
lives
बनेगी।
of millions of people.
As you can see, when the Quad acts, it is not just for nations, it is for the people.
As you can see,
This
when
is
the
the
Quad
true
acts,
essence of
it is
our
not just for nations, it is for
human-centric
the people.
approach.
This is
Dhanyavad.
the true essence of our human-centric approach. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of Japan.
President Biden, Prime Minister Albanese, Prime Minister Modi, dear participants, it is my pleasure to attend the Quad Cancer Moonshot on the sidelines of the summit. Joe has worked passionately on measures against cancers over many years. I wish to express my heartfelt Congratulations to you, Joe, on the fruition of your dedication in the form of the Quad cooperation, and I express my esteem for Joe's leadership. The Quad demonstrated strong solidarity in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the post-COVID era today, the response to health-related challenges that have receded due to the pandemic is even more important. Efforts to deal with regional health and security, including Cooperation Cancers, is indeed a timely initiative. Regarding our support for measures against cancers in the Indo-Pacific region, Japan has offered support such as the deployment of equipment and technical cooperation or support through international organizations and initiatives. We are also collaborating with research institutions working on cancers in the United States, Australia, and India. Regarding the measures against cervical cancers, we have supported the deployment of medical equipment and facilities, offered technical cooperation, or have contributed to international organizations including Gavi Vaccine Alliances, UNFPA, and IAPPF, among others, and such endeavors will continue. Going forward, we will cooperate with you closely in order to bring together the technologies and networks of the Quad to raise the effects of our measures against cancers even further. Thank you for your kind attention.
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of Australia.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here today alongside my good friends, President Biden, Prime Minister Modi, and Prime Minister Kishida. The unifying principle of the Quad is that we can achieve more together than on our own. Our work on health is a powerful example of that. At the very first Quad Leaders Summit chaired by President Biden, the Quad agreed to work together to improve access to COVID vaccines. As a direct result, more than 400 million vaccine doses made their way into communities in the Indo-Pacific. That changed lives and it saved lives. That's what the Quad Cancer Moonshot Initiative is all about as well. This program builds on one of President Biden's signature policy initiatives, not just in his term as president, but throughout his time in public life. It's a reflection of the ambition and empathy, the vision and compassion that has defined President Biden's leadership. It's about understanding people's pain but doing something to help. This is personal for the President and for Dr. Biden. It is personal for all of us because in our nations, as in every part of the world, cancer casts its shadow on the lives of our citizens and our loved ones. Australia is proud of the leading role that we've played preventing cervical cancer worldwide. The HPV vaccine was developed at the University of Queensland by Australian of the Year, Professor Ian Fraser. That vaccine, together with improvements in screening and treatment, means Australia is on track to be the first country in the world to eliminate cervical cancer. Yet beyond our shores, the story is very different. 1 in 4 global cervical cancer cases occur in the Indo-Pacific. And tragically, women in the Pacific die of the disease at up to 13 times the rate of women in Australia. These people are not numbers. They are our neighbours, members of our Pacific family, and we're stepping forward to help. Today I can announce that Australia is expanding our funding commitment to the Elimination Partnership in the Indo-Pacific for Cervical Cancer, known as EPIC. Alongside a generous contribution from the Minderoo Foundation, the expansion will use Australian cervical cancer expertise to help more partner governments get HPV vaccine programs up and running across the region. This will also increase screening and treatment and provide support for health workers. It will build on what we've learnt in the Western Highlands of Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu and make it available to Malaysia, Timor-Leste, the Solomons, Tuvalu, Fiji and Nauru as well. It's fitting that this cancer moonshot takes its name from a famous American achievement that inspired the world. A choice America made to mobilise its collective talent and go to the moon. Not because it was easy, but because it was hard. That's the spirit of this endeavour. All of us know that curing cancer, defeating it once and for all, will be hard, but not as hard as the lonely, exhausting, physical and emotional ordeal of diagnosis and treatment. And never as hard as losing the people we love, which everyone here, I'm sure, has been impacted by at one stage in their life. In 1969, 7 years after President Kennedy called on his fellow Americans to organise and measure the best of their abilities to meet an unprecedented challenge, the world watched as 2 Americans walked on the moon. The images of that defining moment in human history were carried to Tokyo and Osaka, New Delhi and Chennai, Wilmington and Washington DC by the Australian radio telescope in Parkes. Australians will always be proud of the part we played in sharing that triumph of science and human courage with the world. We're proud to stand with the United States, with India and with Japan in this shared effort to change lives for the better. Thank you.
It's going too far. They're receiving it. I wonder what he is.
बस में फिक्स हुआ ऐसे ही जाऊंगा बस में ठीक है वो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हमारे कहने में उसको ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मुझे Here we see the arrival of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the venue of the Quad Summit. This is Delaware, where the hometown of US President Joe Biden, and we see Mr. Narendra Modi reaching the Quad Summit venue after his hour-long bilateral meeting with the US President Joe Biden. They had a warm hug there during the meeting. The hour-long meeting held with various issues were discussed, and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at the Quad Summit venue. He's meeting President Joe Biden there. And now they are with leaders leading towards
Mr. President, will the Quad survive beyond the election in November? The Quad, will it survive regardless of the outcome?
Thank you, press. This way, press. Thank you, press. Way beyond. This way, press. This way, press. Please exit to the left. Exit to the left. This way, press. No, that was good. That was good.
It said it's way beyond November. Way beyond.
Put it against him, I guess.
The Quad Leaders Summit. Mr. President, it's a particular pleasure to hand it over to you for opening remarks.
Well, I say, my fellow leaders, welcome to Delaware. Welcome to Claymont, Delaware. It used to be a steel town here years ago. And welcome to the border of Wilmington, Delaware. And I'm really pleased that you were able to be in my home and see where I grew up. I got a chance to do that in Hiroshima. Got a chance to do that in other places, and I'm glad you got to see it. You know, welcome. We're democracies. We're democracies who know how to get things done. That's why within the first days of my presidency, I reached out to each of you, each of your nations, to propose we elevate the Quad, make it even more consequential. 4 years later, our four countries have are more strategically aligned than ever before. And today, we're announcing a series of initiatives to deliver real, positive impact for the Indo-Pacific that includes providing new maritime technologies to our regional partners so they know what's happening in their waters, launching cooperation between Coast Guards for the first time, and expanding the Quad Fellowship to include students from Southeast Asia. So I want to thank you all again for being here. You've come a long way to get here, and I appreciate it. And while challenges will come, the world will change because the Quad is here to stay, I believe, here to stay. And I'm going to turn it over now to all of you, and I'd like to start by recognizing Prime Minister Modi.
Your Excellencies, President Biden, Prime Minister Kishida and Prime Minister Albanese. It gives me immense pleasure to participate at this Quad Summit today with friends very early on in my third term. There cannot be a better place than President Biden's own hometown of Wilmington to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Quad. The way you are associated with this city and with Delaware as Amtrak Joe, your relationship with Quad also is somewhat similar. Under your leadership, in 2021, the first summit was held, and in such a short span of time, we have enhanced our cooperation in every sphere in ways unprecedented. Your personal role in this has been extremely important. I express my heartfelt gratitude to you for your firm commitment, your leadership, and your contribution towards the Quad. Friends, we are meeting at a time when the world is surrounded by conflicts and tension. At such a time, it is important for all of humanity that the members of the Quad move forward based on shared democratic values. We are not against anybody. All of us support a rules-based international order, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, and peaceful resolution of all disputes. A free, open, inclusive, and prosperous.
Your Excellencies,
President Biden, Prime Minister Kishida, and Prime Minister Albanese. It gives me immense pleasure to participate at this Quad Summit today with friends very early on in my third term. There cannot be a better place. President Biden,
एमट्रैक जो के रूप में आप जिस प्रकार से इस शहर और डेलावेयर से जुड़े रहे हैं, कुछ वैसा ही रिश्ता आपका क्वाड से भी रहा है। आपके नेतृत्व में 2021 में पहली समिट का आयोजन किया गया और इतने कम समय में हमने अपने सहयोग को हर दिशा में अभूतपूर्व तरीके से बढ़ाया है। इसमें व्यक्तिगत रूप से आपकी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। मैं क्वाड के लिए आपकी दृढ़ प्रतिबद्धता, आपके नेतृत्व और आपके योगदान के लिए आपको हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, हमारी बैठक ऐसे समय हो रही है जब विश्व तनावों और संघर्षों से घिरा हुआ है। ऐसे में साझा डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज के आधार पर क्वाड का मिलकर साथ चलना पूरी मानवता के लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हम किसी के खिलाफ नहीं हैं। हम सभी एक रूल्स बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर, संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता के सम्मान और सभी मसलों के शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल निकालने का समर्थन करते हैं। फ्री, ओपन, इंक्लूसिव और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता और साझा प्रतिबद्धता है। हमने मिलकर हेल्थ सिक्योरिटी, क्रिटिकल एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, क्लाइमेट चेंज, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में कई सकारात्मक और समावेशी इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं। हमारा मैसेज साफ है, क्वाड इज हियर टू स्टे, टू असिस्ट, टू पार्टनर एंड टू कॉम्प्लीमेंट। मैं एक बार फिर राष्ट्रपति बाइडेन और सभी साथियों का अभिवादन करता हूं। 2025 में क्वाड लीडर्स समिट का आयोजन भारत में करने में हमें खुशी होगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
We represent in this region the fastest growing region of the world in human history. With that comes enormous opportunity, but also come some challenges. Through the Quad, our four countries collaborate and we coordinate on the issues facing our communities, but the region as a whole. Through the Quad, we leverage our significant resources and expertise to contribute in meaningful ways to dealing with challenges facing countries in the region. And we ensure that we assert the view that national sovereignty is important, that security and stability is something that we strive for, as well as shared prosperity in our region. The Quad is about practical, meaningful outcomes in strategic areas ranging from clean energy and dealing with the challenge, but also the opportunity that climate change represents, health security to critical and emerging technologies, cyber resilience, infrastructure, maritime security, and of course counter-terrorism as well. We'll always be better off when like-minded countries and our four great democracies work together. All of this, the promise in the region, does depend on continued peace and stability and the wise management of strategic competition and disputes. Partnerships like the Quad are crucial, providing us with an avenue to discuss shared responsibilities and goals and strengthening the enduring relationships necessary for lasting stability, which is why we commit today to continue to work with our Indo-Pacific neighbours, our friends and our partners.
It is a pleasure to get together with the leaders of the Quad at the alma mater of Joe to discuss the future of the Indo-Pacific. May I express my gratitude to Joe's friendship for ourselves and for your leadership and hospitality, which demonstrate your emphasis on the Quad. During my tenure, I have consistently emphasized and underscored the efforts by the Quad. Following the last meeting held in my hometown of Hiroshima, this meeting, I believe, could not have been better suited for my last foreign visit. As the Prime Minister, the security environment surrounding ourselves are becoming increasingly severe, and a free and open international order based on the rule of law is under threat. Under this backdrop, it is ever more important for us, the Quad, who share values such as freedom and democracy, to continue to demonstrate our firm commitment to our common vision of FOIP, the free and open Indo-Pacific, to the international community. In order to realize a FOIP, it is crucial to coordinate with the regional countries and to materialize our vision by concrete actions.
Hello, hello, hello. By the way, that little thing up in the air there, don't worry about it. It's not armed. Good evening, everyone. Prime Minister Albanese, Prime Minister Modi, and Prime Minister Kishida, and Governor John Carney, Senator Chris Coons, and Representative Lisa Blunt-Rochester. All the scientists and doctors and advocates here tonight, what a fitting way to end the Quad Summit by launching another historic endeavor. When I was Vice President, Jill and I launched here in the States what we call the Cancer Moonshot. We committed to end cancer as we know it and reach 50% cure for cancers in a time frame that we announced. We had lost our son to glioblastoma in 2015, Bo, a graduate of this great institution. And like many mothers and fathers, quite frankly, we were ready to give up. But I wasn't going to run again. My son, Bo, knowing he was going to die shortly, pulled me aside, not a joke. I wrote about it, made me promise that I wouldn't walk away, that I'd stay involved, because he knew the impact if we stayed and made the case. I remember him saying to me, Dad, this is God's truth, Dad, I'm not afraid. I'm going to be okay. He knew he was about to die. But he said, you got to promise me you'll stay involved, because he knew the way he had talked about it, that it would give people hope, that those of us, and many of you experienced it. I bet if I ask you to raise your hand, including the press, if anybody has lost a family member or has been diagnosed with cancer, it's the vast majority of you. And it seems to me there's nothing that families and or the person suffering from cancer needs more than hope. Hope. Hope that science will outrace the disease. After Bo died, I literally visited every major cancer research facility in the world, 7 of them around the world. I wanted to see what was possible, and I did. And by the way, I didn't do it alone. I want to thank Danielle Carnival, who's here. Where are you, Danielle? I want people to see you, who was an effort, Doc, and worked on putting this together for me. During those trips, I got to see the incredible dedication that scientists, doctors, and nurses. By the way, having spent a lot of time, like many of you have, in hospitals, doctors let you live. Nurses make you want to live. They give you hope. Oh, you male and female, you think I'm kidding. They had hope. And they're making significant progress, all of you, those of you scientists out here. And it's not just because it's personal, but because it's possible. When I became president, we reignited our cancer moonshot with an ambitious goal. Cut the cancer rate by at least 50% over the next 25 years, or even cure many cancers. Throughout this effort, what amazed me was that leaders around the world asked about the cancer moonshot. Its mission that's the mission that brings us together tonight. And one that brings the best of us. That's why we're here today. I'm proud to announce that the Quad Cancer Moonshot is what we're talking about. Our goal is to team up and cancer around the world, and starting with cervical cancer. I know it may sound unrealistic, but it's not. Cervical cancer is one of the most preventable cancers in the world. In fact, we have prevention and screening tools and treatments to make the first cancer ever be eliminated. Yet it's still one of the most deadly cancers across the world. Every year, 150,000 women die from cervical cancer in the Indo-Pacific. Every year. That's more than double the population of this city. We can't and will not let that continue. The four of us are proud democracies. We're coming together to deliver a better hope, more hope for our people. In practice, the Quad Cancer Moonshot means more collaboration between our hospitals, research centers, and cancer foundations, more investment in screenings, treatment, and research, and more exchanges between our countries to improve vaccination rates all across the region. Right now, only 1 in 10 women across the Indo-Pacific, which is the most populated part of the world, have received HPV vaccinations for cervical cancer. So I'm proud to announce that our 4 countries, the leaders behind me, and many organizations here today are committing over $150 million for HPV screening and therapeutics. And next year, doctors and nurses from the U.S. Navy will begin a program to train Indo-Pacific counterparts in conducting cervical cancer screening and vaccination so we can reach every woman in the region. And it matters. Folks, let me close with this. During my first year as president, I received a letter from a mother from Tennessee. She'd been recently diagnosed with cervical cancer. She said she experienced every emotion, from denial to anger to fear to grief. Jill and I remember those feelings as well. But when she asked herself, what am I going to do? Am I going to give up? Am I going to fight? She answered, I choose to fight. We've got to choose to fight. Choose to fight as a society. Ladies and gentlemen, today America, Australia, India, and Japan choose to fight. For every patient asking for one more day, one more week, one more year. Every survivor and caregiver who carries the scars of recovery. And every person who's lost and every person we can save. Because there's truly nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. Not even beating cancer. And that's what this group is about today. So I want to thank you all for being here. And now, who am I introducing next? Who's next?
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
By the way, he's from a small country like ours, with slow population, but he's become a good and decent man and a good friend.
Thank you. Excellencies, इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम के आयोजन के लिए
I thank
मैं राष्ट्रपति बाइडेन
President Biden for organizing this very important event.
यह affordable,
This demonstrates
accessible
our shared firm
और
resolve
क्वालिटी
to
हेल्थ केयर के
provide
लिए
affordable,
हमारे
accessible,
साझे
and
दृढ़ निश्चय को
quality
दर्शाता है।
healthcare.
कोविड
During
पैंडेमिक के
the
दौरान
COVID-19 pandemic, we
इंडो पैसिफिक के
took
लिए क्वाड
the
वैक्सीन
Quad
इनिशिएटिव लिया
vaccine
था
initiative for the Indo-Pacific. And
मुझे खुशी है
I'm pleased
कि क्वाड
that
में
in the
हमने
Quad, we
सर्वाइकल
have
कैंसर
decided
जैसे
to
चैलेंज
face
का
the challenge
मिलकर सामना करने का
of
निर्णय लिया।
cervical cancer together.
इन कैंसर केयर
In cancer
collaboration
care, collaboration
is essential for
is
cure।
essential for cure.
कैंसर का बर्डन
In
कम
order
करने के
to
लिए
reduce the